Hey, 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 it's Aether Raids week 87, day 3 of Light Season, and I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into the mock battle today because I want to try and do this while I still remember what I did. And we're up against Monty Mole again today for Light Season, and the last time I faced Monty Mole, I had executed a Gale Force strat, and I had promised Monty Mole this time that I would attempt it using a tanking strat. And before I go and do that, I wanted to quickly go over some of the changes that they made to their map. And that does actually make things a bit more difficult to tank, at least on the defense tile. So, Montimo, you've done a really great job at sort of denying, or at least making it really difficult for people to just plop their units down on the defense tile. So, first and foremost, we've got Klein, who switched from Ruptured Sky to Moonbow. That always, while defense-ignoring specials are always, I think, more prevalent for maps that have defense tiles for the players to utilize. Then the second change would be that your Soleil and Peony actually swap positions so that your Peony isn't as easily snipeable. And in Peony's current position with ground orders, she actually does give more mobility to your attackers, at least for Ophelia, because she's also included in the mix now. And the third change, I believe, was that you moved your Dark Shrine from the left side of the map to the area behind the wall. And unless the opposing player has a lane 6 catapult, which is adequately leveled, it does mean that it's fairly unlikely that the raiding player is going to go after your Dark Shrine, thus making it more difficult to tank. And I believe you moved one of your gravity traps back over to the tile in front of your Elliewood. So it also becomes harder to try and player phase if they're going with a melee or Gale Force strat. And you've also, I don't remember if you've had this or had a structure on this tile before. You've placed your bonus structure, which is the catapult, on this tile, which my catapult ended up destroying. But the way that I set it up, I usually, well, I would have my air move over here and destroy that structure anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. But in this scenario where I have a melee ranged bonus unit, I would actually have air break the ether instead. And that would probably take me like a turn or two extra to set up. But since I have Silk here, I'm going to actually go ahead and use that to my advantage. And when I had initially tested it out with my Cecilia and Zephiel, I had actually used my Seiri's drawback to get Cecilia out of the way and allow Zephiel to take most of the fire from your units on the defense tile. But since I can't do that, and since I can't snipe the Peony this time around, I'm going to have to perform a different maneuver. But first, I'll demonstrate what happens if I just straight up sit on the defense tile. So, I'm going to go ahead and snag this, pretend that air broke this since I didn't have a catapult. I'm going to go ahead and have Peony break the golden ear flag. The ceiling move up to break the lending library, and turn. And so I do also like Soleil's current position because up front it does make her utilize her role as a tank more frequently and with more success, in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and break the Panic Manor because, unfortunately, that was a level 6 Panic Manor. My Cecilia is at 64 HP, which is just under the 65 HP threshold for the Panic Manor. And so I'm going to go ahead and reposition Peony, and I'm going to go ahead and break the Ether Fountain, move air over, and move Silk down. Okay, and so from here I'm going to go ahead and smite Cecilia up, and It doesn't really matter who I attack in this scenario because both dancers will be involved either way. Um, so I'm just going to go ahead and attack Soleil. And my Bolt Tower did go off, but it won't really be of help because since I'm tanking on a turn where my Bolt Tower activates, the following enemy phase is when the relevant units in the area of effect of the healing tower are basically all going to get healed up. And I think I sort of screwed up my maneuver. I was supposed to be able to dance my Cecilia, I think, with Peony, but it wouldn't really have mattered because one of these two units would have died. So I'm just going to go ahead and end turn and show what happens. So, you can see ground orders affects all of your infantry units. So Peony goes down to dance. So from this, among your two ralliers, it seems that Ophelia has the slot priority, which makes her go first. And it might also be because Climb is within attack range, which causes the Ophelia to want to attack, or to rally rather, to rally first. And then since at that point Peony has a target to dance, she'll go ahead and do that, and then that refreshes and removes the debuffs from Ophelia. And as you can see there, Klein has enough bulk and firepower to enter Wings of Mercy range for Nils to dance, and from there he can finish off my Cecilia. So in this scenario where I had actually danced my Cecilia out of the way, Zephiel would have lost enough bulk by being lunged off of the defense tile, somewhere like around here or here, by Eliwood, and from there he would have dropped out of his Wary Fighter range and would have been taken out by the other three attackers who were supported by their two dancers. So clearly, trying to tank on the defense tile isn't exactly a great idea unless you have one of those stupid, crazy tanks like, I don't know, Fallen Ike, who's heavily debuffed, I guess. But we're going to go ahead and restart this and sort of show my other strat. And that is to take advantage of the structures that you have lined up and create a sort of, what's the word for it? It's not a choking point. There we go. So, I feel like this Black Eagle flag actually works to your disadvantage. If somebody notices, at least, they can sort of just leave this structure alone. And the Aether Fountain as well, because at least for Eliwood, it denies him the opportunity of approaching from the left side of the map and on the defense tile if somebody decides to bait on the tree tile, which is outside of Eliwood's range. So that's basically what this strat relies on, and it can redirect some of your units into going down the right side over here. And for some reason, though, it seems that because of, I guess, slot priority and all of the dancing going on, and dancing and warping for that matter, most of your units actually opt to travel down the left side where the tree is, because for the most part, with the help of warping and their status as non-cavalry, they can actually just all come straight down this way. But because Eliwood can't, he'll just come straight down the right side. So we'll go ahead and demonstrate that. And in order to do so, I'm going to have to leave this Aether alone for the time being. And I'll go ahead and get Peony out of the way. Let's see here. Swap with Zephiel, push Peony away, and move Silk down. And then I'm going to go ahead and move Cecilia onto the tree tile, which is largely out of the range of your melee units. Ophelia is going to come out to rally like you saw before, and then because of that, Peony has a target to dance, so she'll go ahead and do that next. And at that point, since I suppose all three attackers do enough damage to my Cecilia, at that point it's really up to slot priority, and you'll see who decides to go first. So Cecilia goes over here. Then I'm going to go and move air down. I'm going to go ahead and dance. And in this particular formation, air can be used interchangeably with somebody who can tank a blazing wind on the off chance that they didn't have a pulse smoke. But that's really quite specific, so that's why I consider this a really strong setup. So we'll go ahead and see what happens here. So like I said, Ophelia goes first. Peony actually goes in front of Ophelia, jamming her so that Ophelia can't attack my Cecilia. And from that position, among Klein and Soleil, Soleil decides to go first. So Klein didn't even bother rallying Soleil at that point, and then Soleil repels me, basically. And I purposefully left a tile open behind me so that Ophelia, well, after I get repelled, Ophelia can jump forward and attack my air. And in the scenario where I didn't have a pulse smoke, I probably would have used my Zephiel to move, or to have Zephiel on this tile so that she can take a hit from Ophelia. But from here, I'm definitely going to have to get rid of the Eliwood, and we'll go ahead and do that by attacking with air, twice actually.
You won't suffer.
And then I believe
That's a difficult one.
I had attacked Peony, but I just don't recall. Actually, no, wait, I didn't attack Peony. I had attacked Soleil. So let me actually just dance air again. Dance air so she can attack Eliwood again. And I'm going to go ahead and attack Soleil. Which serves two purposes. One is to chip away at Soleil's health, and because she's away from the healing tower, this actually allows my Zephiel to do enough damage with his special to take her out during the following enemy phase. And I'm not actually going to heal with Silk here, I'm just going to treat her as like a stock bonus unit. And the second purpose of attacking with Cecilia was so that I could pulse down this Klein, so that he's not as much of a threat to my Zephiel, and we'll go from here. And so here Klein decides to rally,
Good dreams are born.
and then he chooses to jump forward and attack my Zephiel.
Now, my turn.
And so Legos, and thanks to being attacked by Klein first, I have a bonfire on deck, which allows me to take her out. Then Nils comes down. And so from this position,
Caress.
I can take out the Nils with my air, so we'll go ahead and do that.
And now, you rest.
And I'll go ahead and attack Klein with Zephiel to soften him up. And take Klein out with Cecilia so she can heal up on the off chance that Peony would have wanted to attack Cecilia. But she's really just going to go after Zephiel because he can't counterattack. And so from here, we'll just go ahead and dance to provide further buffs and turn. And from this point, the map is pretty much cleared. So yeah, I would say that if it weren't for this Black Eagle flag being placed right next to the tree, and also with, well, this specific line of structures, you, like, somebody probably wouldn't be able to create a choke point like that. But I would say it's mostly the Black Eagle flag. I've seen people run this sort of setup and have structures lined up on the left side, which usually didn't affect their win and loss ratio too much. So I would probably get rid of the Black Eagle flag or just move it somewhere else, really. But otherwise, it's a really, really competent setup. So kudos to you, Monty Mole. And with that, we're done with the mock battle, and I'm gonna take a break as usual before I jump into my actual match. So, see you guys in a bit. Alright, and so it looks like we're up against a Japanese player who goes by the name of Mosochi. Tier 22 with a bike lead, so let's go ahead and check out their map. And they're using the lava map, and some of these units are decently merged and invested into, particularly this bike, who is light blessed, and I kind of feel like if this person wanted to build or put Ike into the dark defense team, he could have just given them a dark blessing and then saved the setup and then re-blessed their Ike, but I guess this person either doesn't really care that much, or this is a kind of fishing team, or they're testing something out. And initially, I kind of just thought that I could tank with Cecilia again. That would just be like the easiest way, to be honest. But since not all of the traps are adjacent to his or this person's units, I can attempt to Gale Force after clearing these structures out. I've done the numbers, and I think in order for this to work, it actually does work out in my favor because my Bolt Tower is lined up with this bike and this Olivia, who my Amelia will have to engage later on. And also due to the fact that this person's not running a healing tower, so based on these factors, Roy will want to initiate against Sothis first, so that he can take enough damage. And when he initiates, it's going to have to be on an odd-turned player phase, because that way the buffs from an even-turned enemy phase will transition over into the following odd-turned player phase. So that way I could allow Sothis to deal more damage to my Roy, making him a Wings of Mercy target, because I don't plan on testing these traps, and taking into account Savage Blows, Roy will engage Dalthea next, but he does require Peony to provide Cardinal buffs for him to take him out, because Death provides in-combat buffs for Dalthea, and from there, after 2 rounds of combat, Roy should be a Wings of Mercy target, and if this is the real trap, Roy will simply just move on to this tile. If it isn't, then Roy will take the action to take out the Yoon. And from there, Amelia will take out the Ike with assistance from Savage Blow and the Bolt Tower. And this Olivia will have suffered 4 Savage Blows in addition to the Bolt Tower, also allowing Amelia to take out Olivia. And at that point, just Azura should be left. Yoon will be kept alive, trapped in between my Roy and Peony, if this was the gravity trap. And that should be the clear. So we're going to go ahead and see if things go as planned.
Nap time!
And I do have to pay attention to when I start, or when I initiate, and the positions of my units in particular. So, in order to break these two structures, I would prefer my ranged units to do that. So, go ahead and break the face statue here. And get air to take out the street lamp, Peony to take out the Kagami Mochi, and Roy will move behind them. So, this Azura is running Chill Attack, and Roy also does have the highest combined attack and speed. So, both of those should affect Roy so long as both he and Amelia are affected by Attack Tactic. So I've taken that into account, and Roy does do enough damage to the Sothis in 2 hits, regardless of debuffs. So that's something that I don't have to worry about. And then, from here, I would break the Tactics room, I suppose. I'll go ahead and dance air. Get rid of the Dark Shrine as well. Then I'll swap Amelia out and repo air back. And I'll probably take another turn to set up. Or another 2 turns, because I want to make my move on turn 5, since that's an odd-numbered turn, so that Sothis can receive Daltea's even attack wave buffs. And then, I did say I wanted Peony to be on this column, but I also don't want her providing Fortify res buffs to Roy, so that he can take enough damage from Sothis. So I'll go ahead and move her down here, so that both of my attackers still get attack tactic buffs. And go ahead and put air here, I guess, because defense buffs don't really matter this time around. Okay, and so... Oh, okay. So, I forgot to take into account my panic manner. As per usual. So, with 14 damage, that actually doesn't help me out. Got it. 14 damage, plus 12. So, that would be 26. Which, unfortunately, isn't enough to... allow Roy to serve as a Wings of Mercy beacon here. Now what? If I go now, would Roy be able to take 2 hits from Yoon? Yoon receives plus 6 attack, so that puts her at 50, and that would mean that she has 40 effective attack because of triangle disadvantage. So if I provide visible buffs to Roy, he should be at 37. So Yoon should deal 6 points of damage. Does Chaos Named debuff me for -5 per stat? It says on the highest of those foes stats, so I guess I better take that into account just in case. So 32, that's 16 points of damage. So 26 plus 16, that should be 42. So Roy can take a hit from Yoon. As for Amelia, she should be able to take out Ike and Olivia and trap in the Azura. And since Yoon hasn't taken any extra damage, she won't serve as a Wings of Mercy beacon. And Amelia has 30 res. Yoon has... Well, Amelia shouldn't get debuffed, I don't think, because these Chill Attack and the Bright Shrine should still affect Roy, and yeah, nothing else should really affect Amelia, because she's not adjacent to any other unit, so Sabotage doesn't affect her, and she's not within 3 columns centered on Yoon, so Chaos Name doesn't affect her either. So that means Yoon just has 44 attack if she decides to attack my Amelia. And on the off chance that there is a debuff, then Yoon has 50 attack against Amelia's 30, and that's a guaranteed double, which is 40 damage, so both of my attackers can eat hits from Yoon. So I guess that's what we're going to go ahead and do then. Go ahead and engage the Sothis. I guess I sort of just saw the even attack wave as a measure for my Roy to take enough damage, and I kind of just ignored my Panic Manner because of that. But, I mean, I guess they can take hits from this Yoon, so it's fine. And then Roy does 26 damage per hit, so that's fine. And I did need the Savage Blow here so that Amelia could deal enough damage to the Ike. Okay, go ahead and smite Amelia up. Take out the Ike. In 2 hits, thanks to his damage reduction. Then I'll go ahead and take out the Olivia. And from here...
Good morning.
I guess... Oh, well, actually, I didn't think of that. I could actually just warp on over and take out the Yoon. So that works. And that's pretty much the map. So from here, we're going to go ahead and snag the pots. Alright. So, since I'm fresh out of mock battles, I'm gonna start reverting back to my old schedule in terms of uploading whenever I find an interesting match again. And I guess if I have the extra time because of this, I'll start working on a new showcase-esque video. Not sure how long it'll take for me to work on that, but keep an eye out, and we'll see each other next time. Take care, guys.